Lewis, good to talk to you and to be able to sort of get your perspective on becoming a Kidderminster player now. We're not quite sure when the new season starts, but I'm guessing you're already itching to get going.
No, absolutely. I think every footballer who hasn't been playing and involved for such a long period of time just wants to get back and start playing and competing again.
What was your thought process in terms of making the move here then, especially when you've been at a club in Fylde where um, in terms of football, things were going relatively well for you. It's a good setup, obviously, but is it just a case of time for a new challenge, that kind of thing?
Yeah, absolutely. I think the main reason I've come to Kidderminster is because of Russell Penn. I've played with him. I know what he's about, his work ethic, and that's the reason that I've joined Kidderminster. And obviously, it's a great club with a fantastic history, and it's done very well in cup runs over the years. And it's a new challenge for myself, and that I'm really looking forward to because we've got the opportunity now to get the club. And put it back in the right direction and start trying to climb and compete to get promoted.
You mentioned the history and things like that. We talked about how Fylde is a good setup and all those other things. In terms of making the move, was it important that when you were going to move, that it was somewhere that still ticked all of those boxes for you?
No, absolutely. I'm ambitious. I want to be successful. I've been successful throughout my careers in the lower leagues, and I want to be successful. I want to gain promotions. I like doing it. I've done it twice from League Two to League One. Failed, we got in the playoffs, but ultimately it's about being successful at Kidderminster. And I'm looking forward to it. And Russ is very ambitious. I want to be part of this.
There aren't hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of players who've had successful periods in the Football League and then adjusted to have very successful spells in non-league. But you've done very well at this level of football after your time in the EFL. How would you say the two compare? There's a lot more competitive non-league now, isn't it, than perhaps it used to be in a footballing sense?
No, absolutely. I think some people might turn their nose up at non-league and this, that, and the other, but there's some fantastic players in that Fylde squad there. There's some very good players in there, and you're coming up against decent players week in, week out, and decent teams, and it's very, very physical. The National League and National League North, and it's something I pride myself on and look forward to the challenge.
You've mentioned obviously talking about playing at this level for a little while. Talk to me about your experiences coming up against Kidderminster, because you'll have played at Agborough a number of times, will have visited grounds that you've been playing at. What have those experiences been like? Because that's, I guess, how a player builds a picture of a club in their mind, don't they, really, before they join?
Yeah, absolutely. I played it when I was at Stockport County. I played against Kidderminster, and that was the year that they came second. And they played a nice brand of football, and we were very competitive, and the stadium and the whole feel of the club was great, and it was a tough day that day, and we got beat, but good side.
You mentioned Russ at the top. He's the primary reason for you coming. Is the gaffer? You speak very highly of him, and he of you. Talk to me about the Russ Penn that you know, because obviously everyone at Kidderminster knows him very well. But as a competitor, as an adversary, what do you make of the man?
Yeah, he's he was the captain at York when I played with him. Led by example. Very, very hard working. And he's a leader. He's someone that you want on your side. Left everything out on the pitch, and a winner ultimately. He wants to win and wants to be successful. And that's myself. I pride myself on hard work, and I want to win. That's the most important thing.
Are those the messages he said to you in terms of you coming here as a player and him now managing, that he wants to sort of transition from being a winner as a player to having that same kind of managerial career as well?
Yeah, absolutely. Russ, he's very driven, and he knows what he wants. And I'm sure that he's going to transfer that from what he did in his playing career to his managerial career. He's going to demand, and that's great, because as players, it's good to know where you stand, and ultimately, if someone's demanding of you, it's great, because then it's up to you to then produce, and that's what football's all about, isn't it? It's about winning games, because if you win games, you'll find yourself at the right end of the table.
And what has he said he's going to demand of you as a player in the team as he sees it next season? What has he said your job will be?
We haven't really gone into that in great depth, but you know, I think he's going to want me to lead on the pitch as well as and just be a presence and just hopefully be a main part of the side moving forward. So I'm really looking forward to the challenge, and I can't wait to get started.
What's it been like as a professional footballer this summer? Not just the back end of last season where everything kind of just stopped and tailed off, and there's still a bit of uncertainty about the starting of the new season. From a footballer's point of view, what's that been like?
I think it's been really unusual actually, because having such a long period of time off, then having such a long period of time off, you know, usually it's a quick turnaround. You know, if you like over the past couple of years, we've been in the playoffs or a trophy final or what have you. So even your break gets shortened down even more. Whereas this in this scenario, it's much longer, and it's making you know, you just want to get back in. I'm speaking to other players and just looking. Just say everyone wants to say they wants the same to get back in and start competing again. I mean, it's great that football's back on the television, so we're getting a little bit of interaction that way. But you know, it's nothing like getting back yourself and getting back into pre-season and getting stuck in.
And is there a feeling that every club, every team, every player is going to kind of get a fresh start, really? There'll be no kind of hangovers, good or bad, from last season, really. The break has been so long now for the vast majority of teams, including the playoffs, obviously. But at this level, everyone's starting from scratch, aren't they, really?
Yeah, absolutely. And I think it's great what Kidderminster and Russ have done. You know, they've set their intentions up by, you know, being very proactive in the transfer market and showing their ambition to get sorted ASAP, which then gives us a great opportunity to all have our squad together to going back to pre-season. Whereas I can imagine some clubs won't have that opportunity, and they'll be drafting players in quite late and working with quite a small squad at the start of pre-season. So it's really exciting. I know some of the players already that are signed currently at Kidderminster. You know, our squad's looking really good and really competitive.
Yeah, it's at the stage now, isn't it, where perhaps with another addition or two, you're looking maybe at finishing touches rather than wholesale changes. That could end up giving you a big advantage, couldn't it, a few months into the season?
No, most definitely. I think the longer time that, you know, with any new squad, it needs time to gel. And I think ultimately the sooner we have that together, then, you know, the sooner that we can start working together and bonding and knowing each other's roles and strengths and build our team and squad. It's really exciting.